AstroDim here, laying in my bed and stuff, because you know, this is my bed and astrology, So, what I'm doing today is talking about Venus and beauty, how your placement or your Venus placement in your chart can define your beauty or someone else's beauty. So to get a little bit more into it in this intro, Venus is a feminine energy, a feminine planet that represents a lot of things like money, kind of like, how you make money, how you're self-made. It represents self-worth. And it represents relationships and how you relate to others, your desires. But it also represents beauty and charm. So there are certain placements that you have that can kind of manifest this to your favor, make you charming, make you beautiful, your outer appearance beautiful. And so what I'm going to do is talk about how certain signs and certain parts of a sign, which is called decans, how they can manifest to make you beautiful and charming. Okay? And what I'm going to do is first talk about Venus in general. Talk about also different placements and decans and how someone can figure this out. What else am I going to talk about, y'all? Sorry. Sorry. Then I want to talk about the list of decans and explain their special beauty and charm. I'm going to go by each one. And then I'm going to talk about, last words and how I can, bring all this information together. So it's kind of cool because, if you maybe haven't seen anyone, you can look at the chart and be like, oh, they're cute. Or if you can, if you are just even generally wondering how is someone so beautiful or how they're charming, you can kind of figure it out through looking at their chart. And it's fun. I like looking at this and doing this. I guess, of course, if Venus is badly aspected, then it could kind of fuck some things up. But usually it doesn't. So, there's something that's pretty cool. I think you guys will like this. This is a series, so I'm going to really be getting into Venus and beauty and kind of astrology and beauty too. Venus is not the only planet that can show beauty, but it is the main one. It's creme de la creme. Neptune can show beauty too, but it's kind of a different beauty, kind of otherworldliness, kind of a person may not be necessarily beautiful, but they kind of have this allure that makes you want more. You know what I mean? I'm gonna talk. I could talk about too Venus in different placements and how it can show your figure. Kind of talk about that, and I can talk about a lot of stuff when it comes to astrology and beauty. It's really fun. So, but we're not gonna talk about that now. We're going to talk about Venus and how it can show that someone is beautiful and charming, okay? So hold on tight, right? Chill out, chillax or whatever. Get your snacks and your drinks. Lay on your bed or whatever. And enjoy the show, okay, loves? All right. All right, guys, so let's get started with this. Let's go and talk about Venus. So Venus is a planet. It is the second planet from the sun. Yep, it's Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars. Yep, second planet from the sun, also called morning star, Lucifer. So that's kind of creepy, but it kind of all correlates when you think about it, because Lucifer is supposed to be like this beautiful being that's really good with music. I think he was the archangel of music and stuff. And so when you kind of think of Venus, it makes sense, because Venus represents beauty. Venus also represents music, kind of musical talents and stuff. Venus can also represent, like I said, musical talents, but it's not necessarily just all musical. It's any type of beauty. So it could be any type of artistic talents, anything that kind of connects or defines beauty. You know what I mean? And it represents, self-worth, which, a part of your self-worth has to kind of is connected with how you look at yourself, how you find yourself beautiful. Venus represents money. Money is connected to beauty sometimes, a lot of times, especially in this day and age. Represents relationships. When you're in a relationship with someone, you find beauty within them. And in relationships, how do you get into relationships? Through charm. So Venus represents charm too. So you kind of see how the Venusian energy is all connected to beauty. You know what I mean? And the different definitions of beauty. So, that's why this planet is looked at when it comes to showing how someone is beautiful. Okay. Now, the thing is Libra and Taurus are two signs that are Venusian signs, meaning that Venus is ruled, or actually is Taurus and Libra are ruled by Venus. So it's funny because a lot of people say that Libras are known for being beautiful and like being obsessed and liking beauty, and Taurus is known for being beautiful and being obsessed and liking beauty too, but in different ways. I feel like Taurus beauty is a kind of a all natural, earthy beauty, while Libra is more of a kind of charming, glamorous type of beauty instead. You know what I mean? So with that being said, when thinking about those two signs, they are just known for beauty, and so they're gonna have a certain type of charm and certain type of beauty. Taurus is known for dressing well. Libras are too. They love being around beautiful things. They like spending money on beautiful things. They're all about living some sort of a glamorous life. You know what I mean? So regardless of not even how it's aspected, because something could be aspected terribly, which is causing them to not be so beautiful, but regardless, there's going to be some type of charm or beauty when it comes to those energies. But this can also be shown in other ways, in other planets, in other signs too. Okay, not other planets, but other signs too. There's this thing called a decan in astrology. And a decan is a specific part within a sign that explains that section of the sign. So there's one sign, and within that sign there are 3 decans. Those 3 decans are ruled by a planet. Okay? So see decans as like a sub-sign within a sign. Okay? So for instance, let me think of one. Let's use an example of Gemini. So Gemini is a sign, but within Gemini, there's 3 decans, like with any other sign. And the first part of Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Second part of Gemini is ruled by Venus. Third part of Gemini is ruled by the moon. And so that's why there's a difference between a person who's an early Gemini, middle Gemini, and a late Gemini. And this is applied to all of the signs, okay? Now, you see how Taurus and Libra are Venusian signs. That's earth and air. So, with that being said, only earth and air have Venusian decans. You know what I mean? So when I listed that the Gemini's decans and how Venus is in there, that means Gemini has a Venusian decan. You know what I mean? So only earth and air signs have Venusian decans. And so that means that earth and air are known for beauty. Now, the thing is, it's like earth and air, it even though it's like a decan is only one sector of the sign, that sign is just going to automatically be beautiful and charming overall because they have a Venusian decan within the sign. So for instance, even though a person who has is a Gemini, but there are a Mercury or a moon decant Gemini, they still have beauty because they are a part of Gemini, and Gemini has a Venusian decant. And even though that's not their decant's not Venusian, that beauty is spilled over. You see what I'm saying? But that doesn't really help fully because regardless, it's always the people that were born within the Venusian sign, Venusian decant and Venusian sign, but it's the people who are born within the Venusian decant that has the most beauty and the most charm. Okay? Now, for the people who are like, who are not earth and air, for the water and fire who are like, hey, what the fuck? Like, I'm a earth and water sun sign, and I'm not, I don't have a Venusian decant. I feel like I'm beautiful and charming. Well, don't worry, because it doesn't only apply to sun signs. If you have a Venusian decant, if you have a Venusian decant within your rising, sun, moon, or Venus, then there's a great chance that you're beautiful. Now, that's all I'm going to mention when doing this. This is a multi-series thing, so I'm going to be talking about how beauty can be expressed within your chart in other ways. So this is just one way how beauty can be expressed in your chart, okay? So even if you don't have you're not a part of a Venusian decant within your rising, sun, or moon, or Venus, you can still be shown as, you can be still beautiful within your chart, just in other ways. But I will get to that in a different episode. But in this episode, we're going to talk about specifically Venusian decans. Okay? All right. So, with that being said, let me think. With that being said, I think I'm just going to leave it off here. I'm gonna take a little short break, and I hope you guys kind of understand what I was saying. So kind of just to have a little of a recap, right? The one way that we can find out if someone's beautiful is seeing if they have sun, moon, or rising in is in a Venusian decant. A Venusian decant is a sub-sign within a sign that is ruled by Venus. Okay? And so that in itself will show kind of that you have a lot of energy when it comes to Venus, and that means that you can it can manifest within you being beautiful, or charming. Okay, so hopefully that you get that. Okay, just before I end this too, decans are 10 degrees. Start with 0, ends with 9, and then starts with 10, ends with 19, and then starts with 20, ends with 29. Okay, so those are like that. Those are like the 3 decans and how it starts. Okay, so with that being said, I'm gonna stop doing this and sucking my teeth. I'm sorry. I'm learning to stop, to stop doing that. But with that being said, what I'm going to do now for the next segment is go through each of the Venusian decans and kind of explain how beauty is expressed within that decant. And you can see how you're beautiful. You know what I'm saying? All right, so remember this too. It's not just your sun sign. If you have sun, moon, or rising, or Venus in a Venusian decant, it can manifest with you being charming and beautiful. Hopefully, it's not badly aspected and fucking it all up for you. But regardless, you're going to spill some beauty or charm out there, okay? All right, so let's get this going. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and go through the Venusian decans for each sign. Remember, Venusian decans are only available for Earth and air. Okay, so if your sun, moon, rising, or Venus happens to fall in these degrees in this Venusian decant, then honey, you may be beautiful, or at least charming, so you can still get in them draws. Okay? So let's get started, all right? So we're going to get started with the first Venusian sign of the zodiac, which is Taurus, okay? So, Taurus, they start off with 0 degrees Taurus and 9 degrees Taurus. So, but if your sun, moon, rising, or Venus is between 0 degree Taurus and 9 degree Taurus, then honey, you are beautiful and charming. Beautiful and or charming. Like that. Yeah. So, the cool thing about this is that Taurus represents self-worth and material worth, okay? So if you are beautiful, it is a very, very important part of your self-worth. You correlate your beauty to your self-worth. Now, this can come out good or bad. In a good way, it could be like, regardless of how I look, I am beautiful. I'm aware that I'm a beautiful person inside and out. And it doesn't matter what other people say. I know who I am and what I am. And a good thing is that what I always say about Taurus energy is when you kind of get your self-worth pat down and good, you have a healthy self-worth, you then get the gift of Taurus, which is the material worth. Okay, so once you kind of build yourself up and realize your beauty inside and out, then you get the material worth. So a lot of times too, with people with this energy, they make money off of their beauty inside and out. They make money out of their charm. So there's a good chance for them to be even salespeople. You know what I mean? Models into some type of beauty or fashion, home decor, anything that's beautifying something. Could be even art galleries, just anything that has to do with beauty, art, and just loveliness. Okay. So, their beauty, again, is kind of like the classic, always known beauty. And that reason why I say it's classic and things that are kind of like classically known as beauty is because Taurus is earth energy, which is known for classic, the classicness, the being extremely grounded, kind of like the energy that is settled and kind of been proven. But it's also fixed energy. So again, that kind of makes it even more grounded. Taurus is grounded to a fault. They're like double grounded to the point they won't even budge. So again, it's like it doubly, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but you're double grounded, you're double earth, you're double fixed by being fixed and earth. So the beauty is kind of beauty that's been proven. That's why it's classic beauty. That's a better way to say it. Okay. All right. So that will be the first Venusian decade, Taurus, 0 degrees to 9 degrees. So if you have Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus between Taurus, 0 degrees and 9 degrees, you are beautiful, baby. Next is Gemini. That's the next sign that has a Venusian decade. Now, their Venusian decade degrees is between 10 degrees and 19 degrees. So if you have Gemini, Sun, Moon, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. I said Rhinus. What the hell is a Rhinus? So if you have Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus between Gemini 10 degrees and 9 degrees, then baby, you are beautiful and or charming. Okay? Now this is an interesting placement too. So of course, like with all the decans, it will manifest. Your beauty will manifest outwardly and your charm will manifest outwardly. But the thing is I kind of see this as manifesting beauty. Gemini represents air and mutable air. So they are not only constantly thinking, constantly communicating, but they are thinking and communicating in multiple ways, in different ways, and they're just jumping from one conversation to another conversation, one thought to another thought. It's just, they're all over the place, just communicating to everything and everyone within the community, because Gemini represents community as well, just going from here to here to here and thinking from here to here to here, okay? And so a lot of the times, Gemini energy represents the magician. So what they can do is think these beautiful thoughts, communicate these beautiful thoughts, and make beauty happen. Okay, so this placement is probably the most charming placement. Okay, even though beauty will show out too, but this is the most charming placement. So they can probably say the most beautiful words. These folks are probably the greatest recording artists, or greatest poets, writers, anything that has to do with written work, speaking work, communication. They communicate beautifulness. They communicate beauty. They're just bomb at that. But the thing is that with the whole magician thing, they speak something into existence. They speak beauty into existence. They think beauty within the existence. And so because of that, because they just inwardly embody beauty, inwardly embody their desires and their wants, they become beautiful. They manifest themselves into becoming beautiful. It's possible. They can do it. They're like Gemini. This Gemini is like, Gemini in general is just the manifester, the magician. They could just make shit happen if they really put their mind into it. And so I can even see this as a lucky placement, because Venus represents desire. So they could just make shit happen through just communicating and thinking the right way. So these are like true artists. This is a real good artistic when it comes to communication and word, spoken word and written word, singing and stuff. One thing I like to say too, to go back with Taurus. Taurus rules the throat. Okay, so especially with someone that has Taurus is already a Venusian planet. A Venusian sign. But when they also have Venus, they are part of a Venus decant. They probably have one of the most beautiful voices. Okay, beautiful voices ever, because Taurus rules the throat. With Gemini, if someone has the Venusian decant energy, Gemini rules the hand, so they have the most beautiful writing style. They can write and speak beauty, literally. They can paint beauty. You know what I mean? They can use their hands and use their mouth to create beauty. It's dope, right? So they are the creators of beauty. Like I'll say Taurus or Taurus are the singers of the beauty. You know what I mean? They sing beauty. Gemini are more of the creators of beauty when it comes to building beauty with their hands, but with their mouths too. You know what I mean? Because they are the communicators as well. So they kind of took some of Taurus's swag a little bit. But yeah. But again, with this too, it's not just spoken word with, they don't just speak beauty or build and create beauty. They manifest it with their looks as well. Okay. All right. So the next sign that has a Venusian decant is a Virgo. Okay. So Virgos, if you have Virgo, Sun, Moon, or Rising, or Venus between 20 degrees and 29 degrees, then baby, you are beautiful and or charming. Okay? Now, Virgo energy, this is an interesting kind of beauty, but it's still necessary, okay? Virgo represents routine, organization, frequency. I love kind of relating Virgo with frequency. So how Virgo brings in beauty is through organization, through habit, through routine. So these Virgos here are the ones that they're probably the ones that created the 9-step skin program that the Korean beauty created. They give you the routines, the steps on how to make your skin flawless and beautiful. And you kind of need a routine to be beautiful. You can't just roll out of bed and bam, I'm dope. I mean, okay, you can. Okay, you can do that. Probably the Venusian decade for Gemini could probably do that. But to kind of have that polished look, that organized, I got my shit together beauty, that's very Virgoian, Virgoian Venusian beauty, okay? So what they do, they're the ones that kind of, you get your step-by-step organized way of becoming beautiful, becoming beautiful, okay? So they have the list of ways of how you can be beautiful. It's like you do this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, do all these steps to get where you need to get to, okay? The thing is, just like Gemini, Virgo represents thought process as well. And so, but the thing is that while Gemini is more of a thought process when it comes to, sorry, y'all. I don't know. There's a cat just screaming out, just meowing out, and I don't know what the fuck is going on. I'm sorry, y'all. Anyways, I don't know if y'all heard that or not. The cat was just screaming like crazy. I hope it's okay. Yeah, I'm so distracted now. So, like Gemini is more of a kind of, their thought process is kind of like all over the place, thinking about, subject matter and kind of breaking that down. Virgo's energy is about subject matter too, but their whole thing is about organization, like breaking things down to understand it more, and kind of more like putting things in order and in a process and procedure and a frequency. That's how they're thinking. So their thinking process is a little bit different than Gemini's, but still important. Okay, so the Virgoian Venusian decant, right, represents a organized beauty, a procedural beauty. Okay, again, when you think about this, the most perfect example is the K-Beauty's like 9-step skin program. You know what I mean? Like just organized, getting things together in a nice, neat, pretty, beautiful way. I kind of think of an interior designer too, how they just have everything nice, neat, prim, proper. Mwah, just perfect. Okay? All right. So next is the next Venusian sign overall, but they of course have a Venusian decant as well. It is Libra, right? So if you have Libra sun, moon, rising, or Venus between Libra 0 degrees and Libra 9 degrees, then hunty, you are beautiful and or charming. And again, just like with Taurus, the beauty and charm is doubled probably because of, Libra and Taurus already being a Venusian sign. Okay? So, with Libra represents relating to others on a one-on-one basis. So, with Libra, the type of beauty that they bring is beauty within relationships, but not just like group relationships, more of a one-on-one relationship. So when you really get to see the beauty of this person when you meet them one-on-one, get to know not only their looks and how they are aesthetically pleasing, but getting to know their beautiful mind. Now, getting to know their beautiful mind, again, it doesn't get deep. Like Scorpio, you're not going to know their deep, deep thoughts. They're going to draw a beautiful first impression, a beautiful face for you, a beautiful 1, 2, 3, 4 layers that you can kind of get to and penetrate. They're not going to give you that deep shit. You know what I mean? Because to them, it's not as beautiful. And so they'll relate to you, and they'll make the whole experience just lovely and beautiful. Now, it's funny because even with Libras, they're known for not liking confrontation. They are known for not liking getting to deep shit because it's not beautiful. It's not pretty. It's ugly. It's hard. It makes you sad. They want things to be lovely, baby. They want things to be like nice and happy and good and amicable at all times. So confrontation and getting into the deep shit and getting into the deep emotions, that's not fun. We want the fun emotions, baby. Okay? That's what they want. And so, with someone with this decant, with this Venusian decant, they again create these layers of beauty. So it manifests aesthetically as glamour. You know what I mean? They have the more glamorous beauty because they're trying to appease people, and they're trying to make sure that they kind of fit the part. And so they kind of create these layers so you can be good. You know what I mean? And you can see them you could see them as a good person and see them as having it together. You know what I mean? Libras are, just like Taurus, are very, very known for dressing well. So even if they don't look the part, they are definitely, when it comes to like their face and shit, they are definitely looking the part with their clothes. The thing is though, because Taurus is more about self-worth, they see the beauties within themselves and it just manifests outwardly, so people see their beauty that way. Libras see the beauty and kind of get their beauty through relating with others. Okay, so they have to be charming. So Taurus, they can be charming, but not charming as a Libra, honey. Okay, because their beauty comes through relating with others. All right, so they have to be charming so they can get the compliments. And then, a good way to get a Libra happy is just to tell them they're beautiful, and they just get all gushy and like, I'm beautiful? You think so? Tell me I'm beautiful. Oh, thanks so much. Oh my gosh, I love it. And they'll tell you you're cute too, but man, they eat that shit up when you tell them they're beautiful. You want a Libra to be on your good side, call them beautiful, and they are all for it, baby. But again, they understand their beauty, they understand their Venusian qualities, their desires through relating to others. Okay? All right. Now, again, that is if you're Libra. The Libra Venusian decade is between 0 degrees Libra and 9 degrees Libra, okay? Next, bam, 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 is this real one right here. Capricorn, baby. See, I have a Venusian decade. My son is in a Venusian decade, so I'm all about this shit right here, okay? I get excited about this one, okay? So Capricorn, if your sun, moon, rising, or Venus is between 10 degrees and 19 degrees Capricorn, then baby, you are beautiful and or charming, and honey, I is both. Okay, let me stop gloating. My Leo moon's coming out, okay? But yeah, so Capricorn, yes, my sun is 16 degrees Cap, so I'm all for this shit. Now Capricorn represents how people are recognized and status. Okay, so people get kind of confused with status because it's, for some Capricorns it does manifest in like societal statuses, you know what I mean? But it's also how you're just recognized in general. So like a Capricorn Venusian decade person, it's quite literal, you know what I mean? They just want to be recognized as beautiful, and so they do what they feel they have to do to be beautiful. They look the part. They just straight up look the part. They kind of see what people consider beautiful. They don't just go with it automatically. Hell no, Capricorns won't. They are picking and choosing what they feel is beautiful or not. And they're kind of similar to Taurus with the whole solid, like that solid classic beauty, because remember, like Capricorn, they rule the knees, you know what I mean? So knees are the most important parts, one of the most important parts of your body. It helps you walk, it helps you stand tall. And so they need something that's like steady and grounded to push forward and to kind of push into the society so they can be recognized, again, solid with the earth, groundedness, and pushing forward to the society, and so people can recognize them as being beautiful. That kind of push forwardness is the cardinal sign, their cardinal earth. So that's how it kind of blends together and comes together in that way. With that with Capricorn again, what they do, they want to, again, they want to be recognized as beautiful. So again, they scan and see what people consider beautiful, what is classic beauty, and then pick and choose from them for themselves on what they consider beautiful. So it's not just based off of what other people think. It's more about what they see it holistically. Okay, like, this is what other people think, this is what I feel is right for me, this fits my persona, this fits what I want to get out of life, this fits what I want to get out of this situation, so I'm gonna get that. Basically, I'm just gonna figure it out and get it. But the thing is about Capricorn, authenticity is important, so they're gonna make sure it fits them and their personality as well. Okay, so again, with Capricorn, it's quite literal. Capricorn Venusian decans is quite literal, just like with anything with Capricorn. You know, they want to be recognized for their desires and for their beauty, and so they just do it. And so it's funny because it manifests that way too when it comes to their aesthetics, with their outwardly beauty, their features in their face. They're just born pretty. They're just born beautiful. It just happens. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to speak anything. They don't have to do any steps. It's just there. Okay? It's quite literal. Capricorn, caramel on the inside, caramel on the outside. You see what you get. So this, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not just saying it because I have this decan in my sun, but these will probably be the natural, just born out the womb beautiful people, because again, Capricorn energy is literal. Okay, they don't have to do anything extra to be beautiful. They're just naturally going to be beautiful. Okay, all right. So last but not least, the last decant, the last Venusian decant is Aquarius. Now, if you have Aquarius sun, moon, rising, or Venus in 20 degrees to Aquarius 29 degrees, between 20 and 29 degrees Aquarius, then you are beautiful and or charming. Now, my Venus is 20 degrees Aquarius, so you know. I got two of these placements. Let me stop. I'm such a Leo moon right now. But yeah. So again, Aquarius, if you have sun, moon, rising, or Venus, and 20 degrees Aquarius to 20 degrees Aquarius to 29 degrees Aquarius, then you are beautiful and or charming. So with the Aquarius energy, Aquarius represents a lot of things. It represents friends. It represents acquaintances. It represents your network. It represents technology, astrology. But the thing that really brings everything home with this energy is it represents perception of your self-expression, perception of your talents. Okay? And so what the Aquarius energy does, they connect to society. They connect to their network so people can perceive what they give to the world, so people can perceive that as something that is beautiful. Okay? So I always explain this when it comes to Aquarius energy. They're fixed air. So I know that that doesn't make sense how you fix in your air, but it does. Aquarius energy is fixated on one subject, right? So that's the fixed part. But what they do is just spiral off in different ways, that anything that is connected to that subject, and learn every aspect of that subject. And even if it doesn't really, even it's connected by 12 degrees, they will figure it out and learn about it. They like to fixate in one specific subject and learn every single goddamn detail about it in every possible way. So that's where the air comes in, and they kind of get all scattered. They just get so they don't get really fixated on the subject. It's like they are, but they're not. They're so focused on the other details that's connected to the subject, okay? And so with that being said, you know, how they create this beauty is they learn about all of that, society's views and their network's views on things, right? On this one fixated thing that they're interested in. Gather that information, synthesize it, figure it all out, get the important information out, and blot out creates this beautiful thing that all of the society loves. And that's why Aquarius is so loved so much within astrology and in the astrological community, and everyone talks about how much they love Aquarius so much. It's because they're manipulating your asses, okay? I'm Aqua dominant, so you can't get mad at me. I have a lot of Aquarius dominance. I'm Aquarius rising, Aquarius Venus, okay? So I know how it is. They learn something in and out, synthesize the information, see how society understands it and likes it and what they like and dislike about it, synthesize that information and spew out beauty because they get what society wants, and so they give it to you. And that's why they're so loved. And they do that with anything. They do that with themselves, their personality, the things that they do, their talents, anything. You know what I mean? And so that's why they're so beautiful. And the thing is, a big part of the reason why they're so beautiful too, you know, Aquarius energy represents the rebel. You know what I mean? Again, that's how you connect to the society, by being the rebel, seeing what society wants, seeing that society ain't getting it and fighting for it. You know what I mean? Again, loving the society, being the society's bestie. You know what I mean? Getting on their good side. They're beautiful through their uniqueness. So the things that make them different, the things that make them an individual, the things that makes them quirky and, you know, cool, makes them beautiful. You know what I mean? You know, they have more of a androgynous beauty rather than have a more asexual vibe than, you know, Libra, which is more glamorous, and then it's different from Taurus, because Taurus is more of a classic beauty, okay? Things that are just known for being beautiful straight out. You know what I mean? Like, things that have just been proven to be beautiful. That's more of Taurus. But Aquarius is totally different because they are looking at the quirky things, the things that make you different, that makes you individual. They find that beautiful. And so they kind of get that from the society, understand how society kind of feels about it, tweaks it, and then the final product becomes beautiful. And it's not just beautiful because it's beautiful or because Aquarius thinks it's beautiful, but society also thinks it's beautiful because they took all the gunk out of it. You know what I mean? So that's how it's manifested in Aquarius energy, the Venusian decans, okay? So that's all of the decans, the Venusian decans. Again, if you have Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus in any of those degrees within any of those signs, they're in a Venusian decant. So, honey, you are beautiful and or charming. Okay? All right. So I'm going to take a pause here. I'm going to come back with the last words. And yeah, that's what I'm going to fucking do, man. That's what I'm going to motherfucking do. All right. All right, guys. So these are the last words. Each planet represents something in particular, okay? And within these decades, you get to kind of figure out a little bit more about the energy that decade or that period of time kind of represents. So it's kind of important to not only look at the planetary ruler of the sign, but also dig a little bit deeper and look more into the planetary ruler of the decan to kind of get a better understanding of what the degrees mean. And this is not just for Venus information. It's for others too. So if you looked at Mars and trying to understand things that, people who are more driven, and for people, for masculine energy, leader type energy, not selfish, but kind of more energy about self, if it's Pisces energy, you're going to look towards the end of Pisces, which is 20 degrees to 29 degrees Pisces. You know what I mean? And it goes on for other, Martian decans. So to get a better understanding, even of current transits, look at the degree it's in, try to figure out which decan it is in. And then you can kind of use both the planetary ruler of the sign and the planetary ruler of the decan to get a better overall understanding of what it means. So again, like if I were to use Capricorn, the planetary ruler is Saturn, and then you use the Venusian decan, if it's 16 degrees, that means the planetary ruler of the decan is Venus. So it's kind of finding beauty, and your desires by using authority and responsibility, which is more Saturn type of information. You know what I mean? So you kind of have to blend the energies of both planets to get the better understanding of that time period of that, decan in general. Okay? So those are my last words. I'd like to mention that I have a fully stocked Etsy shop. You can find it at etsy.com/shop/AstroDim. That's ASTRODIM. Have all the, reports that I do. And I currently, because it's Gemini season, happy Gemini season to you all. I do have a promo code if you are a Gemini sun and you are interested in a solar return. You can get 40% off by using promo code Gemini Season. That's GEMINISEASON. Gemini Season. If you use Gemini Season, you can get a 40% off your solar return chart. Now, my solar return readings are very in-depth. Could be hour or more long. I've had some that are hours long. It depends how your solar return is looking. But I can't see me doing my typical solar return chart that is less than 45 minutes. I go deep into it, okay? Because I don't want to miss out any possible energy that may reflect for you. So at the most at the very least you're getting 45 minutes. Probably at the most, maybe 2 hours. I do my solar return charts in parts, okay? Because of that, it's $120 typically, and that's actually being cheap. I know people who definitely charge hundreds for their readings, okay? With this 40% off, it's going to be substantially cheaper. $120 is the typical price. So, if I'm a Gemini and I want a real good solar return reading to kind of understand how the energy is going to be from my birthday 2018 to my birthday 2019, I would definitely take advantage if I was you. Just saying. I would definitely take advantage of this situation. 40% off is a lot. Okay? And again, I charge $120 originally. So if you're interested in the solar return chart, it's not your season. Your season passed. It's going to be $120. But for my Geminis, my Sun and Gemini folks, and I'm using tropical astrology, okay? My Sun and Gemini folks will get 40% off their solar return charts readings. And all you have to do is, of course, give me your birth date so I know you're a Gemini, and use Gemini season promo code, and I'll hook it up for you, okay? The thing is, though, again, I'm doing your solar return chart, so I'm going to need your birthday, so I'm going to know if you're a Gemini or not. So don't try to get 40% off and you're actually a Libra, and I'm not going to do your chart for you. I'm just not going to do it. I will wait and do it when it is Libra season. I'm that petty, so don't fuck with me, okay? But anyways, with all that being said, go and find more information about other readings that I provide on Etsy.com/shop/AstroDim. Another cool thing is that earlier, one of my first posts on my _AstroDim Instagram account, I talked about celebrities with Venusian decans and how it manifests for them. I didn't really talk specifically about how it manifests for them, but I showed you how fine they are. So how real this Venusian decade thing is, So I'll give y'all some examples actually, for the Taurus decans, folks. T-Boz has a Venusian decant sun. Derek Luke has a Venusian decant sun. Shamar Moore got a Venusian decant sun. For Gemini, Marilyn Monroe had a Venusian decant sun. Josephine Baker had a Venusian decant sun. Allen Iverson had a Venusian decant sun. For Virgo, Jada Pinkett Smith has a Venusian decant sun. Sanaa Lathan has a Venusian decant sun. Nas has a Venusian decant sun. For Libra, Will Smith has a Venusian decant sun. T.I. has a Venusian decant sun. Matt Kemp has a Venusian decant sun. For Capricorn, Denise Matthews, who's also known as Vanity, who played with Prince, she has a Venusian decant sun. Donna Summers, Boston represent. What, my nigga? She's Boston and Capricorn. Wet. She has a Venusian decant sun. And fine ass Morris Chestnut has Venusian decant sun. And then lastly, with Aquarius, Huey Newton had a Venusian decant sun. Kelly Rowland has a Venusian decant sun, and Dr. Dre has a Venusian decant sun. All those people are beautiful, fine as fuck, gorgeous, and it manifested with them perfectly. Okay, so in my if you go all the way down to my earlier post, you'll be able to see it. I think again it's like my first set of posts, so you'll be able to scroll all the way down and see it there. And I have a longer list of celebs that have this and how it manifested physically for them. Okay, so feel free to check that out. You can check that out at THE_ASTRODIM on Instagram. Okay, _AstroDim on Instagram. You can also check me out at IMMIDDIMMI. I'm also known as AstroDim there. On Twitter, okay? So that's my name on Twitter. I'm also known as AstroDim, so if you type AstroDim, you'll probably be able to find me. But my actual name is IMMIDDIMMI. That's Emmett Demi, my name frontwards and backwards, or backwards and frontwards, sorry. And what else you can find me? AstroDim7 on YouTube. Have lovely videos. I actually have a video on this too, if you want a little bit more detail And shit, what else? I'm actually gonna maybe probably start putting my podcast videos on YouTube too. I have to find a way. I'm gonna see if I can kind of have a cute setup so you guys can like actually look at me and see me while I'm doing this, so it could be more like a video and stuff. I think that would be really cool. Okay. And I think that's all where you can find me. I can't think of anything else. Oh, you can hit me up on my email too if you have any questions about my Etsy shop or just any questions in general, have any suggestions on episodes. My email is 7thhighentertainment@gmail.com. That's 7, the number 7, TH. Wow, I'm losing it, guys. I'm really tired, okay? It's late. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. When I say my Bed and Astrology, like I'm serious with it, okay? So let me do this again. The number 7, THHIGHENT @gmail.com. So again, that's 7th High Entertainment. Entertainment is abbreviated.com, okay? All right, guys. I'm done. This is my last words, okay? I love y'all much. I hope y'all enjoyed this, okay? All right. Have a lovely night. Love you. Peace.
The podcast you just heard was recorded with Anchor. If you want to make your own, download the Android or iOS app completely free from anchor.fm/podcast. That's anchor.fm/podcast.